Ever since I could remember, it was just me and my mom. My dad abandoned us when I was just a baby, and my mom never had any other boyfriends. As you can expect, Mom and I were really close, and I actually liked that there was no one else around. That way, I had my mom all to myself. Though sometimes I would feel jealous of the other kids whenever they had their brothers or sisters to play with. I was on my own, and a lot of the time my mom was busy working, so she couldn't play with me. Sometimes in those moments, I really wished I had a brother or sister, but I guess I should have been careful for what I wished for. But before I go on, make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any more crazy stories. Things were pretty normal. My mom and I had a great routine going on. Every day I would get up for school and my mom would make me pancakes before she went off to work. Then once I got home from school, we'd watch TV together, and then I'd go off to do homework while Mom made dinner. We'd eat dinner together, sometimes out in the garden, sometimes in the kitchen, or sometimes even while watching TV. And then we'd have a game of cards. I was the undefeated champion until I was 12 years old, though maybe my mom let me win. We'd have a hot chocolate sometimes before going to bed, and if I was lucky, Mom would let me have marshmallows too, and then we'd go to sleep. Life was pretty normal. I didn't want anything to change. I know, change is inevitable. But I didn't want anything to be different. Sure, my mom could meet somebody new and have a boyfriend, and I've never admitted this before, I didn't want her to find somebody new. I loved it when it was just the two of us. And I most certainly didn't want a sibling. That was the last thing I wanted. But well, that's exactly what I got. The first few things that started to change was our routine. Where we would usually have a game of cards, suddenly my mom would say she'd need to go out to buy something quick, and she would be gone for hours. Then sometimes, when she returned home, she wouldn't even have bought anything. I was very suspicious. Was she meeting up with a secret boyfriend? I asked her what she was hiding from me, but she laughed and told me it was nothing. I was still suspicious, though. Then something else happened that turned my world upside down. When I was 15 years old, a new kid moved to our school. Her name was Charlotte, and she was quite a shy kid. We took all the same classes, so I pretty much saw her all the time, but I didn't speak to her that much if I was being honest. She didn't have that many friends, and she always ate lunch on her own. When I told Mom about the new kid at school, she immediately said I needed to be friends with her. But why? I asked. She's so shy, I don't really think she's my kind of friend. She's a new kid, replied Mom. You should give her a chance. Go on, Abigail, just do it. The next day at school, I asked Charlotte if she'd like to come sit with us, and she was really eager. When she got more familiar with us, she wasn't such a shy kid anymore. She started chatting a lot, and usually she was pretty funny. If anything, I actually got a little jealous, because it seemed like my friends liked Charlotte more than me. My friends even said we looked alike. I didn't see it, but they said we had the same eyes and the same hair color too. I was annoyed, and I decided I didn't want to be friends with Charlotte anymore. She might steal my friends. But one day after school, we were walking out of class together when Mom came to pick me up. She spotted me standing next to Charlotte and walked over. Hi, Abigail, said Mom. Then she looked at Charlotte. You must be Charlotte. Yes, said Charlotte, and she smiled. Charlotte, said Mom, you should come over for a play date. I'm making spaghetti bologna tonight. Do you want to come over? Oh, I would love to, said Charlotte with happiness. I was so shocked. Why had my mom done that? She didn't usually ask people over randomly. Usually she'd consult me first to see if I even wanted to come. And I most certainly did not want Charlotte to come. But I couldn't say that now because it was rude. I sighed and we both followed Mom to the car. When we got home, I was nervous because I didn't know what to do with Charlotte. But Mom took care of that. It was more like a play date between Charlotte and my mom than me. She taught Charlotte how to play the game of cards we always played, and I was annoyed to find that Charlotte was even better than me. Then my mom turned on the TV, and she and Charlotte sat on the couch watching our favorite TV show, whilst I sat moodily in the kitchen. We had dinner, and after that, Mom made hot chocolate. She asked me if I wanted one, and I said no because I was jealous. But Mom didn't seem to notice, and so she and Charlotte enjoyed their hot chocolate with marshmallows, while I had nothing. Why did Mom like Charlotte so much? She didn't usually do this with my other friends. What was so special about Charlotte? Finally, the night ended, and Mom offered to drop Charlotte home. At first, Mom said Charlotte could stay over, but I had to put my foot down then. No, I think it's best if Charlotte goes home, I said. There was an awkward silence after that, but I didn't care. Charlotte wasn't even a real friend. I didn't even like her that much. Mom drove Charlotte home, and she returned a few hours later. So, what do you think about Charlotte? She asked. I don't know, I said. She's okay, I guess. Oh, come on, she's great, said Mom. You should really want to be her friend. I was suspicious then. Why do you want me to be your friend so bad? I asked. Mom looked uncomfortable then. Oh, it's nothing, she said, but I could tell she was lying. After that, Mom had somehow got Charlotte's phone number, and this time she would invite Charlotte over without even asking me. Charlotte practically came over every night, despite me never wanting her to. I was so annoyed. This wasn't fair. My mom couldn't just force me to be friends with Charlotte, but it also seemed like Charlotte wanted to be friends with me. She was always so nice to me and always tried to make conversation, but I was stubbornly silent. She may have wanted to be friends with me, but I didn't want to be friends with her. Then, to my horror, Mom started calling Charlotte honey and darling, as if Charlotte was her own daughter. I was so angry. It was as if Mom was trying to replace me. Every time Charlotte came over, I would lock myself in my room. But that meant I never really got to see Mom, since Charlotte and Mom were practically best buds. Sometimes Mom would ask me to come down to hang out too, but I never listened. For a long time, I believed Mom loved Charlotte more than me. Then, one time, Mom offered to take us all to the zoo for a day out. Charlotte was pretty much living at our house now. I refused to go. I said I was feeling sick, but I wasn't really. I just didn't want to have to spend the day with Charlotte. It's not that I didn't like her. She was actually a pretty nice person, and if my mom hadn't been so forceful, I probably would have been her friend. Maybe even best friends. But now that Charlotte was practically stealing my mom, I didn't want anything to do with her. I think Mom could tell I was lying, but she decided to go anyway. That really hurt me. My mom would rather spend the day with my friend than her own daughter. I thought, I just have to accept it. My mom is trying to replace me. While they were out having a lovely time at the zoo, I decided to go watch some TV downstairs. After feeling bored of that for a while, I thought that I would go into my mom's room to get some money to buy an ice cream down at the store. Surely she wouldn't mind. She did ditch me for the zoo. But when I was in my mom's room, I noticed one of the drawers was left open, and I could see a picture inside. I picked it up and smiled because it was a picture of me as a baby with my mom. But then my jaw dropped, because that's when I realized that my mom was holding 2 babies, which meant I was a twin? I couldn't believe this. I was a twin? Where was my other twin? What had happened to them? Then I noticed another piece of paper in the drawer. It was a birth certificate. There were 2 of them. There was mine, with my name clearly on it, then another one, and what I saw really shocked me. It was Charlotte. Charlotte was my twin. How could I have a twin? Why had Charlotte been missing from my life for all this time? Why hadn't my mom told me? All these questions zoomed in my mind, and then I heard a car pull in. My mom and Charlotte were home. I decided I had to confront them then and there. I ran downstairs and shouted, "Charlotte is my twin?" Mom froze. Then she sighed. Yes, it's true. Charlotte stared at me, and she didn't seem all that shocked. You knew? I asked Charlotte. She nodded. I couldn't believe this. Are you trying to replace me? I yelled at Mom. What? She asked in shock. No, of course not. And then she explained everything to me. Mom wasn't trying to replace me. She was just trying to make us feel comfortable with each other, and she was hoping we'd feel that twin connection. She wanted Charlotte to move in with us permanently, but she knew if she had told me I had a twin suddenly, I would find it hard to adapt. Mom said that she had actually kidnapped Charlotte. Well, more like rescued her from our dad. At birth, we were separated, so Mom took me and Dad took Charlotte. Mom explained that Dad was a terrible person and had given Charlotte a bad life, and Mom had wanted to save Charlotte. That's why Mom had disappeared at random times. She had been visiting Charlotte, who was now living in hiding at a motel. When Mom said this, Charlotte had nodded in agreement, so I guessed it was true. While I was trying to process all this information, another car pulled in the driveway. Who could that be? Asked Mom in confusion, and then a man showed up. Dad? Yelled Charlotte. I looked at the man who was my father. His face was red with rage, and he seemed to be drunk. Then, without warning, he leapt forward and tried to attack my mom. I was so shocked. Everything had happened so fast. I was practically frozen with shock. But then Charlotte came to the rescue and pushed my dad off and forced him outside. She locked the door and immediately called the police. I realized that Charlotte may have just saved my mom's life. Our dad was arrested for attacking my mom. I was so scared my mom would go to prison for technically kidnapping Charlotte, even though Charlotte had been willing, But Mom actually ended up winning custody of Charlotte since the judge could see just how bad her father was. And me? I've now had a change of heart. I'm actually so glad to have a twin. I never realized it, but I had missed out on so much by not having a sister. I regret not being able to grow up with Charlotte, but we're now making up on those lost years, and so is Mom. We are a happy family now, and I love it.
You guys, this is the reason why I never wore big dresses to school. Let me set the scene for you. 4th grade Joe, 9 years old, super perky and happy to be wearing a giant dress to school. You know, I don't know why I was. Maybe we had just gotten it. I was super excited about it. It was like a Wednesday. I was probably like, Mom, I want to wear this dress. And since I was mainly tomboyish my entire life, she was probably like, yes, wear it. So I took it to school. So I took it to school. It made playtime a little complicated, but that's fine. Recess was fine. I was one of those kids who liked to roll around in the dirt, climb trees, all that jazz. And I'm like, it's just a dress. It'll be fine. So it's time for like nutrition class. I don't know. They're trying to teach us about like pyramids and like food groups. My teacher starts looking at me funny. And then she kind of just says to the entire class, Josadak? And I'm like, is it Josadak? Can you come with me outside for a second? I'm like, yeah, sure. 4th grade me just comes with her outside. And when we're outside, she closes the door. And I'm like, huh. She slowly takes off her shoe. I was like, oh, look for part 2. Okay, part 2. I honestly didn't expect to make 2 parts out of this. So my teacher was looking at me like so intensely while she was taking off her shoe. And I was so confused. Miss whatever your name is, because I don't remember. What are you doing? And she goes, don't move. And I start panicking. But I do what she says. Like, she gets her shoe, she holds it up to here. And then she throws it at me. And I literally jumped. She hit me in the bottom half of my dress. The shoe went flying. You know what else went flying? Right next to her shoe was the giantest spider I have ever seen in my life. I think it was a tarantula, which would have been fine because tarantulas are pretty much harmless. But at the time, both her and I were freaking out. She literally knocked the spider out. Her aim was so good. I'm actually amazed right now. She's like, oh my God, I saw that on your dress when you came in and I had to get it off. I was like, thank you. Yeah, I had no idea that was on there. So I retired that dress. No more dresses to school, not for Joe. Thanks for watching, Yo te amo.
Story time! So yesterday my friends and I all went to the fair and there were 6 of us in total. And none of us wanted to have to worry about driving there and parking, so we just Ubered instead. So we left the fair around 11:15 and we walked to a nearby shopping center where the Uber picked us up about 10 minutes late. We ended up leaving at 11:30. We get in the Uber, the man says hello, and we head home the normal way. Everything's fine. And my parents don't like when I Uber, so they were tracking me on Life 360 from the moment I got in the car. After about 10 minutes in, I get a text from my mom, and it said, "Where are you?" I look up from my phone and I realize I have no idea where we are, and Ubers know their directions, they know how to take you home. We were 20 minutes out of the way. So I'm terrified. My mom's texting me nonstop, literally about to call the police. I'm gonna run out of time, but posting part 2 today. Okay, back to the Uber story. Our parents are freaking out, we're texting each other in our group chat so he doesn't hear us. Also, while this was all happening, he wasn't talking to us, but he had an earbud in, and he was talking to someone on the phone really quietly. It was super creepy. My mom starts calling me again, and he hears the ring. And one of my friends pulled up on her phone the directions to get home, which he also heard, so he knew that we thought something was off. After a little while longer, we finally know where we are, so we feel a little bit better. We were getting really close to the turn that goes into my friend's neighborhood, and we were thinking, if he doesn't make this turn, we're screwed. Thank goodness he makes a turn and we're back at my friend's house. But the scary thing is what if he was planning something, but since our phones were ringing and we had the GPS up, that he changed his mind. Because we were not going home. I still can't stop thinking about it. This is the one time Life 360 has come in handy. We're all safe now.
Something so disgusting happened to me and my cheer team. Story time. So on my last year of cheer, I thought it was going to be amazing. But was I so wrong? See, the cheer team last year was just so much better. So it gave me high expectations. And no, I don't mean the athletes. I meant the coaching was so much better. We had a cheer coach, a tumbling coach, and a workout instructor the previous year of cheer. But on my last year of cheer, the cheer coach decided to dip. And so our tumbling coach decided to be our regular coach that year. And that's when everything went downhill. For the sake of this video, I'm going to refer to this gross man as Dirty Dan. Because he was a dirty motherfucker. First things first, he had some dirty ass teeth. Shit was rotten as hell, black and green. He had hot ass breath. Don't even get me started about this man's BO. It should be illegal to smell like that. On top of it, he was always sweating. Always. And that's not even the worst part. When Dirty Dan used to help us tumble, his peen used to go up, 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 uppity. Something so disgusting happened to me and my cheer team. Story time. Part 2. So in the last part, I told you guys how my tumbling coach became our cheer coach, aka Dirty Dan. There was so much wrong with Dirty Dan. First off, his breath was hotter than the month of July. His teeth were so rotten they was turning green. And this fool was always sweating. He was really looking like he just ran a 5K. But the worst part is that his eggplant would go up, 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 uppity every single time he helped us tumble. Mind you, we're 16 years old at this time. Chair, but make it electric. Bars, but with him behind it. Anyways, we told our principal about this. I literally wrote a 2-page essay to my principal about his boners. And I wasn't the only one. But you know what our principal said to us after we told her? She literally told us, I don't want to talk about this because it makes me uncomfortable. Like, bitch, how do you think we feel? Anyways, that year ended really badly and half the cheer team quit. He belongs to the streets and behind bars.